For the second year in a row, my next guest is going to be competing on the PFL playoffs. Her hopes for $1 million prize is still alive, and she joins me right now. She's a friend of the show, Miss Olena Kolesnyk, the Cannon. Welcome back. Olena, I always love talking to you. I love it when you come on my show. You're a fun person to interview. So thank you for being here, first and foremost. Well, I wanted to first ask you a little bit about what's going on in Xtreme. Francis Ngannou, he signs with the PFL. Sadabusi, he gets a great, impressive knockout victory in his last performance. And then Biagio Ali Walsh, he's another one of your guys that has been doing great things. Can you talk a little bit about I wanted to first start off with Sadabusi. He had a fantastic knockout. He was the PFL champion last year. I mean, your thoughts on what your teammate is doing? He looks fantastic.
Well, Sadibu, it's, I think, how better to say, I proud him the most because for me, he is inspiration. The guy fought so many times in PFL and it's not work out for him, but he not give up and he keep working. And he surprised the world last year and he keep going to make it this year. As you see, his spinning kickbacks, like it was amazing. So I'm really proud of him, and he's amazing human being. He is really nice person in regular life. I never hear from him that he complain or something happen. He's such a he's such a strong person, not only strong fighter. So for Sadibu, I'm proud the most.
He looked absolutely fantastic. And I would be remiss before we move on to you. I had to ask you a Francis Ngannou question. He's supposed to fight Tyson Fury. We all know who Francis Ngannou is, but in your mind, how can he beat Tyson Fury in your mind when you think about those two boxing? How is it possible?
Well, maybe I'm not pro boxer, but I was a national champion of boxing. Boxing is my base. I'll be honest with you, I'm really nice with Francis, and we train in the same gym. And but if I, I don't like lie,
Mm-hmm.
and my prediction, I don't see how he can beat Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury it's one of the greatest fighter. He is really. It's not even about his power. He's really tricky. He's really smart. He has a high IQ. I remember when he beat Klitschko
Mm-hmm.
and shocked the world. This is this is keep my attention on him since that fight. So with all respect, well, again, fight is fight. Maybe some landed punches which Ngannou landed maybe can hurt, like But if fight will be the whole distance, I don't see how Francis can beat him. I just don't see. I mean, as a teammate, as the co-worker, because we fight in the same organization, I wish him best.
Mm-hmm.
I wish him the best, like good luck. But as a professional athlete, it's always a chance, but the chance to beat such a technical and sneaky fighter is really low.
Hey, I think everything that you're saying is incredibly fair, and you're not one to bullshit. You're just going to give it to me straight, and that's what I like about you. Your 2022 PFL season compared to this one, I see some similarities between the two in terms of the results, right? You had a weird first fight, and then you get the second fight, and you looked even better the second time, and now you're in the playoffs again against the same opponent. But I wanted to ask you we break down this most recent fight, how do you feel like in terms of your evolution as a fighter from this year compared to last year? Like where do you think your game has evolved, and how much closer do you think you are to $1 million this year compared to maybe where you were last year?
I think maybe last year was too early to earn this million and to earn this belt. And I think I prove to PFL, I prove the audience that I became better from fight to fight. And I keep my word. I not give up. You can break me physically, but my spirit, my fate, you just cannot take from me. And I truly believe that if they cannot break your fate, like you're unstoppable. So for me, I worked really hard for these two fights, which I won this year. And of course, I keep working hard for the upcoming fight. I have a lot of changes in my life, in personal life, in fighting style. So, and the most important, what is the most important is result. And results show audience, you guys, that fights became more interesting, more technical, more calm. So from fight to fight, I just became better and I'm just start. I just I just want to be the best version of myself. I just want this belt. Nothing matter for me. And, you know, if it wasn't Larissa, uh, if it won't be Larissa in August, if it won't be any other girls, I don't care. I mean, the main goal is to bring this belt to Ukraine, to see my parents, to I lost so much time. Well, I lost this time to follow my dream, but let's be honest, I stole this time for spending with my parents. My parents became really old, and I see the changes by video calls. It's break my heart every time. I try not to show them, but again, like every parents can feel their child. So when I win this belt and I win this million, everything will worth it, you know.
Yeah, I
So
could, well, I can imagine. And I wanted to say, like, my biggest question mark for you going into this season was the different weight class. I was like, okay, well, let's see what she looks like. And I have to tell you, I like you better at featherweight. I like you better now than at lightweight. I think your speed causes people a lot of problems. Your striking causes people a lot of problems, but you just look a lot faster out there to me compared to at lightweight. I know it's a difficult cut for you, but at the same time, you look phenomenal when you're out there in the cage. And I was just wondering, like, the more and more you fight at featherweight, is this kind of a weight class you hope that you can stay in for the foreseeable future?
no, I think featherweight is a perfect weight class for me. I like myself how I look, how I move in the cage much more than I was in 155. Well, when I lost in London to Larissa last year in September, I come back already. It was 20 August. In September, I already come back to the trainings, and since then, I'm not stop my condition, not stop make my cardio, not stop make weights. So, like, it was painful. mm more mentally than physically to lose to the same person again, and especially when so many Ukrainians was there in London to see me. And but I made a huge mistakes. I forget that I fight not for audience. I fight not for people who come to see me. I fight first of all for myself because I love to do it. So thank God, one more lesson in my life. We make a lot of changes now, so we'll see what happens. I don't care. I don't care personally how I win Larissa in New York. I don't care at all. I just want to win a fight, and I just want to be in the final. I be honest with you. It's not even about Larissa in some way. Of course, I'm blessed to fight with her again, maybe to close this chapter for our fighting. Well, and as I told you, the main goal is a belt. All I dream about it's a belt. All I want belt. But for me, it will be the final fight because you, me, audience, PFL understand. When I beat Larissa, the final is mine.
And let's I did kind of want to, this is one thing I noticed about just thinking about this whole situation. So like when I think of like Larissa and Kayla, Larissa lost to her twice, and then the third fight nobody gave her a chance to win. People were like, we've already seen this before. Kayla's gonna, beat her up, right? And it'll beat her up soon. And then we saw how that fight went. And then for you, it'll be like the same thing. People are going to say to themselves, like, oh, Lena's already lost twice to her. And we've already kind of seen how this will work out. So Pacheco should cruise through this fight without any issues. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, that might not be the case because we've seen an example of that, like the Harrison Pacheco situation. And for you, like when you look at this and having fought her twice before, and when you see other women that have fought her, in your mind, like what is it going to take to beat somebody like her? Nobody's beat her since 2019, but you look at her, what are some things that you see where you're like, this is how you beat her?
I'm ready to die.
Mm-hmm.
This girl who step against her, they're not ready to die. I'm ready to die. I will do everything what I can and everything what I will make impossible possible.
Anything can happen in a fight, especially at your level. You're talking about the degrees of separation between like the best fighters. There's really nothing there. And if you zig instead of zag, like the fight is over. The fight is completely over. And I look at it and I'm just like, I bet Elena is going to see a lot of people maybe not giving her the respect that she thinks that she's earned, and that's probably going to fire her up even more. And I bet you'd love nothing more than to make a lot of people shut up.
Since beginning of this year, I'm already was underdog. So what changed?
Nothing. And I mean, exactly. Like every single time you go out to a fight, well, you were favored pretty heavily for your last fight. I believe I remember seeing that, and I was like, wait, like -3 something or something crazy for you. I'm like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to seeing like Elena being like the underdog for all these fights. And let's talk about this. It was a complete dominant performance, bell to bell. When you go back and you look at the footage from your most recent fight from June, like how happy were you with that? Because I thought you looked great.
Well, if you see fight from the beginning till the end, in the end of the fight, I'm crying because I was pissed off that they did not finish this girl. Sorry for being honest, but I was really upset not crack her head. But yeah, when we stop in octagon, we became animals. When we go out from from the cage, we became normal people. But anyway, I was, uh, I just wanted to be in the semifinal. Let's say like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was worried about like how other girls perform. And to sit there and watching from fight to fights, which I hate watching fights. I don't like to watch fights. The only exceptions it's my opponents and the people who I know personally or the people who inspire me, like from whom I can learn something. To go outside to watch fights for me, like in the middle of the event, I will start to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not social person, and especially when you go outside to watch the fights, I'm come like I come at work, you know. So I mean, to sit there and watching other fights was first of all, I do what I don't like to do. Second of all, you praying God, if it's possible to say like that, that I be in the semifinals. So in some point, I wish them all not to be there. Let's be honest. And God hear my prayers. And even when they try to put Aspen Land on my place, God protect me. God protect me and say everything how it's supposed to be. Well, there is no day when I'm not. There is no day when I'm not pray God, and I feel blessed. You know, sometimes I'm upset. Sometimes I'm like, moody.
Yeah.
But because I always try to be the best version of myself. For example, today we work with Ray Sefo, me, and GP Bias. He's from UFC guy. So another guy who prepare Brett Tavares and I forget the name another guy. Anyway, we make a shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray actually said, like, you did good, you did great today. Like, you not even, like, almost no sweat. You, like, your condition is great right now, and it's 5 weeks forward. You breathe like a, uh, I don't know, like, I'm not remember what he said, but anyway. But I wasn't happy. He said, "What is your face?" I said, "Listen, no, I can do better." He really thought he say like, you always thinks negatively. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just really hard with myself because and I'm really hard with the people with whom I work or I friend. This is who I am, and I always try to be the best. And I see, oh, like this round, I tried from round to round to be faster, stronger, but I after it's finished, I'm like, I can do better. And this is since childhood, I think. This mentality since childhood, and it's not mean that I'm negative person. It's mean I just try to be the best because I know if you wanna be the queen, if you wanna be on the throne, you need to work really hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine, and but I do know from talking to people like Serena, I do know how much work that you put in, and I do know that you're highly respected in your gym. You're somebody that a lot of people look up to, and it's different for you because anytime you go out and compete, like there's also an entire country watching you fight. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. A lot of people never understand what that means. But you do. And you're fighting under like very difficult circumstances, and not a lot of people really understand the weight of all of that, I feel. But you're out there and you're like you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for your faith. Sometimes I think maybe in past one of my past lives I was Jeanne d'Arc because like I'm truly believe that our genetic, our relatives which alive or passed away many years ago, it's all influence on us, even if we don't realize, but an influence on our mind. For example, a lot of my relatives and generations, they were soldiers, you know. So to look my how's it say history of my relatives, I realized that everything's supposed to be like that. I'm supposed to be a fighter, and I'm honestly blessed because I have opportunity to follow my dreams. A lot of people, well, they don't have such opportunity because some of them have a fear to to lose everything, to lose comfort zone. Some of them not so lucky, but I'm just blessed. I'm blessed because I follow my dream. The way to this dream is really hard. The way not sometimes not so shining brightly for me. But the fate of God helped me not give up and not to just put my gloves on the floor and said it's over because I have this will. It's not over for me, and no matter what happened, I just keep pushing myself to be the professional MMA world champion and to bring this belt to Ukraine. That to say that yeah, the world champion of professional MMA, like it's Olena Kolesnyk. I will do everything that journalist, that audience, the whole world to know my name, and I will do everything to put my name over the history of women's MMA. So I work really hard, and I will work even harder to make this goal fast as possible. But again, everything happened with us in the right time. Either it's love, either it's knockout. You cannot force it. You just need to wait and believe.
Olena Kolesnyk fights in the PFL playoffs on August 18th. That happens in Madison Square Garden. Final question for you, ma'am, and it's simply this: like fighting in Madison Square Garden against Larissa Pacheco, like that is one of the most iconic places you could ever fight in. Like that is the Coliseum, like Madison Square Garden. It doesn't get any bigger than that. How excited are you to just get an opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden? I mean, you're talking about people like Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, like some of the best fighters of all time have all fought here, and that's got to be a really special moment for you.
Well, man, I wish my grandpa be alive and can see it by himself, because these huge fights we saw with him together, and he thought, well, I'm doing this fighting stuff, it's not seriously. And now I truly believe he's still watching from the sky on me, from heaven. And now his granddaughter fighting in the famous arena where fighting the greatest fighters. I just hope you're proud of me. That's all.
Okay, well, I am very much looking forward to your fight. It's a massive opportunity. I wish you the best of skill, my friend. And I want to give you the final word. I know that you have a lot of people that are helping you and making Team Cannon what it is, so we can watch you fight. If there's anyone that you would like to thank before I let you go, let's knock it out.
I just want to say thanks for all people who have a faith in me. Your faith in me make my faith stronger. And I want to wish all people believe in God, because if you not follow God, you follow devil. You can believe, you cannot believe, but life shows you who you follow. There is only two choices. So yeah, like, thank you so much. I've been blessed with my surroundings. I've been blessed with the people who are prepared for this fight, and I've been blessed to fight in Madison Square Garden area with my oldest opponent, and maybe one of the hardest fight in my life will come in 18th of August. This is how I prepare myself. For me, it will be the hardest fight, and I repeat it again. For me, as soon as I win this fight, final is mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Olena Kolesnyk. Olena, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to having you back on my show very soon, my friend.
Thank you.